Good afternoon and welcome to BizTech's ASEAN Midday Market Watch. Our guest today is Kelvin Wong. He's the market strategist at CMC Markets. Kelvin, great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Brian.
Now, before we speak to you, Kelvin, let's take a quick look at how markets are performing across the region. It's a very mixed bag today. The Nikkei is trading at 26,733.67. It's down 0.28%. The Shanghai Composite is trading at 3,430.03. It's down 0.35%. The Hang Seng is trading at 26,686.54. It's down 0.16%. ASX 200 is at 6641.80. It's up 0.41%. And the Kospi is up 1.37% at 2,733.13. Now, closer to home, Bursa Malaysia is trading at 1,600, sorry, let me just check that, 1,622.1. It's down 0.38%. Now, Kelvin, what are your thoughts on the market? How are markets performed this morning?
Well, I would say that it's the usual end of the week move where we kind of see pretty much of in terms of short term, market participants actually do not want to take on additional risk going forward into the weekend. But I would say that given a very strong performance that we see in the markets across the board in terms of stock markets globally from US as well as Asia, so it's pretty normal to see this kind of consolidation move that should take shape between now and then. And perhaps even next week or so, because on the horizon, if you look at it over here, is that the next major key event that could actually drive the market will be the Fed FOMC meeting that will conclude on December the 16th. Yeah, so that's about that's 2 weeks from now. So
okay,
I believe that from now
to then, that's a marker that we have to look out for.
Yes, correct. That's the key risk event, that in fact every market participant is paying attention to,
Now, what is your reaction, however, to the OPEC Plus meeting yesterday?
Yes.
Now, the tapering of cuts definitely provides some stability to the oil markets, but what's your view of it moving forward in 2021?
Okay, so from what I see over here is that maybe I'd like to break it down from a medium term as well as a longer term perspective for 2021. So what we could see oil prices right now, especially the movement since the last 3 months, is more likely to be more like momentum driven. So as you know that from that historical negative level that we see in March this year, so
yes.
now right now it's actually trying to claw back all these losses. So from a medium-term perspective, right, momentum is still there, definitely reinforced by yesterday's OPEC's movement, OPEC's decision to actually increase production lesser than expected. So it kind of put a floor to oil prices going forward the next 3 months. So what I'm expecting potentially, looking at the WTI crude oil futures, it may go up to 49.40/50.50 per barrel between 1 to 3 months horizon. So that being said, right, it should be that is actually the former range support of Jan 2019. / October 2019. So in the longer term perspective, I do not see the potential of oil price, WTI crude, going beyond $50.50 per barrel. One of the reasons is policies. If you talk about, let's say US, Joe Biden's, US President-elect Joe Biden's policy. So what he actually advocates is for clean energy going forward. And I believe that given the stance of US President-elect Joe Biden, he may actually have a more, we call it a more harsher approach towards a big oil company and in adapting to this clean energy policy. So that could actually put some downside pressure on oil prices, putting up a ceiling at this 50.50 level. So I do not foresee oil prices going above 50.50 in the second half of 2021.
Now let's take a look at the FX markets. And the US dollar is now trading, has been on a downward trend.
Yes.
What are your views of the dollar vis-a-vis Asian currencies?
Okay, so going forward, right, I'm expecting the dollar to actually weaken much further in 2021. So it's actually a combination of policy as well. Okay, because right now we know that the US Treasury top pick will be Janet Yellen, coupled with the Fed Chair Powell. So both of them are actually have a very dovish stance towards policy. So what Yellen does over here, Yellen wants to have very aggressive fiscal stimulus policy, added by a very dovish Fed. So that could actually potentially put further downside pressure on the dollar via a widening budget deficit. And also do not forget that over here is that Biden itself, administration, they got to actually reverse a lot of Trump's 4 years policy. So this ongoing firefighting, right, the only way to actually grow the US economy is via a weak dollar. That means getting the export cheaper, making their services cheaper so that they could actually sell more to the rest of the world. So in fact, what I'm expecting over is that Asia currency will to actually be strengthened against the dollar further towards the first half of 2021. Then thereafter, right, we got to look at especially the PBOC, China Central Bank, to see whether they are pretty much comfortable with a stronger yuan. So because you talk about the yuan is also at close to about a 2-year high against the dollar also as well.
And Kelvin, it's
Yes.
Friday, you know, at end of a very relatively quiet week compared to the events of the last month or so. Now, what are the key events we need to look for in terms of data points and announcements later today and also over the coming week?
Yes. So the coming week will be much more quiet, except for 2 weeks from now will be the Fed FOMC, which we discussed earlier on December 16th. So for today, key data will be definitely the US job data, which is a non-farm payroll. So in fact, market are expecting a weaker number. Okay. So right now, a weaker number, what does it mean? So if the number turns out to be in expectation or even weaker, that could actually kind of propel the US Congress member to at least push some kind of fiscal stimulus to be signed off before January next year. That means before the inauguration of Joe Biden taking officially the presidency. All right. So if that could actually kind of happen over here, is that we could actually see a spike up in this risk on effect on the US stock market, which could take US stocks higher from here, especially on those those stocks that are related to value and cyclical. So I'm watching out for this energy will be definitely one of them. Then we talk about industrial as well as material stocks, given also the financial stocks as well.
Hey, Kelvin, thank you very much for your insights. We've been speaking to Kelvin Wong, market strategist at CMC Markets on BizTech's Midday Market Watch. I'm Brian Fernandez. Check out